Hello everyone, I'm Alex Cho from Audit and Assurance GFSI. Today we are very happy to invite Siobhan Haughey, a world-class swimmer representing Hong Kong, to present her success story. Hi Siobhan.
Hi.
Siobhan, can you share with us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I've been swimming since I was 4, and I was lucky enough to go to the US for university, and in university I was training and studying, and I also qualified for my first Olympics when I was 18. So I went to the 2016 Rio Olympics, and I also just qualified for my second Olympics.
Nice. So today we will be asking you a couple of questions revolving about your competitions and how you handle stress, as well as your future career planning. So just before we start, I would like to congratulate you for getting the gold medal and also becoming the fastest Asian woman swimmer and the fastest member of the Energy Standard Swim Club for the women's 200 meters freestyle category at the ISL swimming finals held at Budapest last month. Congratulations, Siobhan. All right, so starting off with my first question, many swimmers regard that the 200 meters freestyle race is one of the most difficult events for swimming categories. So it's a combination of both speed, endurance, and strength. And I believe that it must be surely a fulfillment of your lifelong journey and your lifelong dream to participate in this event. For this, did you have a chance to sit back and reflect on that experience? And how would you describe the most memorable experience that you have?
Yeah, so I've been swimming for a very long time, so I definitely went through a lot throughout my swimming career. When I first started swimming, I actually hated it when I was really young because I thought swimming was so boring, and I was just swimming up and down the pool, and all I see is the black line at the bottom of the pool. So I always wanted to quit very early on, but my parents always told me that swimming is an important life skill, and they really want me to learn how to swim, and that's why they told me to, keep swimming for a few more years. And it was a little hard, but then throughout my swimming career, I met a lot of my teammates and they became my friends. And so that's how I slowly found enjoyment in swimming, because I see going to training as an opportunity to hang out with my friends and talk to them. And I think there are definitely a lot of memorable moments throughout my swimming career. One of them would definitely be going to the Rio Olympics in 2016. I went to the opening ceremony, and it was an experience that I've never had before. When me and all the other athletes, we walked out through the stadium, and we saw the stadium was packed with audience and packed with people, and there was a lot of energy, and there were loud music, people were cheering, and there was just a lot going on, and I was just so happy and so lucky to be able to qualify for the Olympics. I think that's definitely something I won't forget.
Yeah, so it's definitely a very wonderful experience at the Olympics, and also and you're facing all the crowd, and it must be a very special event.
Yeah, definitely.
So nowadays, a lot of people are affected by COVID-19, and so has COVID-19 affected your training as an athlete?
Yeah, it definitely did affect my training, especially at the beginning of the year. So I was still at the US at that time when they announced that all the pools in the US would be closed. So I wasn't able to have access to a pool or a gym for over 2.5 months. And at the end of May, I decided to come back to Hong Kong because I knew a few pools in Hong Kong were open. So during those 2.5 months, it was a little hard because as swimmers, it's very important for us to keep training, because once we're out of the pool for more than 3 days, we lose what we call the water feel. So not swimming for 2.5 months is a very long time, and I had to be very disciplined to do some at-home workouts by myself, or do some dry land, cross training, and different sorts of activities to maintain my aerobic system. But since then, since coming back to Hong Kong, I was able to train again, so things are a lot better than at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, speaking of home workout sessions, would there be any sessions that you would share with us?
Yeah, one of my favorites would be the high intensity workouts. So they're normally short 30 to 40 minute workouts where you work hard for 20 seconds and then you rest for 10 seconds, and you can do that for as many rounds as you like. This is very effective because it's a very short workout, but it gets your heart rate up. So you don't have to go to the gym for 2 hours and you could possibly see the same effects. So in those 20 seconds of workouts, you could there are some of my favorite exercises to do are burpees, jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, anything to get your heart rate up. And you can mix and match and make it more fun, so you don't have to do the same workout every day.
I'll definitely try it at home.
Yeah.
I understand that you have studied in a local secondary school, and at that point of time, you're already swimming competitively. How did you balance your academics and also for the sports events that you have participated among that time?
Yeah, so I always want to have a good balance between my swimming and school career because I always see myself as a student athlete, so I put student before athlete. So academics is always my number one priority. And I think in order to manage both things, you really have to have good time management. And you have to be very disciplined as well. So it's always, there are a lot of long and hard days where I have to train in the morning before school at 5:30 in the morning, and then I have to go to school until 4 o'clock, and then go to afternoon training, and then after that I have to go home and study, do homework, and it can be very tiring and can be very hard sometimes, but I always have a goal my goal is to balance both swimming and school, and so with this goal in mind, I always try to do anything I can to achieve good results in both areas. And you just always have to be very disciplined. Like, you have to prioritize your work, know what is important, know that, training and school is important. And sometimes you just have to sacrifice a bit of your sleep, sacrifice a bit of time hanging out with friends. And sometimes it might be lonely, but if you have a goal in mind, you just have to do anything you can to achieve it.
Definitely. So adding upon that, how did you handle the stress and how did you cope with other people's expectations?
Yeah, having such good results in swimming definitely comes with a lot of stress and expectations from other people. But I try to see that as more like a encouragement from other people, and knowing that there are a lot of people who are there to support me, and I never want to create extra stress and put extra stress on myself. So I just try to, sometimes if I feel overwhelmed, whether it's during studying or right before a competition, I like to just sit down, take a break, take a few deep breaths, and I think that always helps to calm myself down. And sometimes I just have to listen to my body and know that when I actually need a break. And if I do feel very stressed and need a break, I like to take a short nap or just do one thing fun for myself. I like to bake, so I bake a lot because I think baking is a great way to just clear your mind off of school or study or swimming. And I could also eat the things that I baked and then give the rest to my friends. So it's a fun way for me to de-stress, I think.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So Siobhan, as a world-class swimmer, how do you keep yourself motivated? And what impact would you like your swimming career to have?
I think there are a few ways that I keep myself motivated. The first thing is to set a goal, because I think with a goal in mind, that's definitely one of the biggest motivators for me. And sometimes it's hard just having one long-term goal, because even in the midst of things when you're just training and going through all the sets and going through all the competitions, sometimes you get lost in everything and you forget about your long-term goals. So I also like to set small targets for myself. For example, in every training session, I like to have one thing that I focus on. It could be my turns, my dive, my breathing, anything like that. So, or another specific thing I would work on is like to push off the wall and do 4 underwater kicks every time. And I think having these small targets makes the whole training and everyday life less mundane and more interesting. And I know that if I meet these targets, it will lead me to my long-term goal. So having something in mind that you want to achieve definitely could motivate you to keep going. And another thing is just to enjoy what you're doing. As I said just now, I never really liked swimming when I was younger because it was really boring, but throughout the years, I really found joy and found my passion in swimming. And I think if you don't like what you're doing, it's hard to do it every single day for the rest of your life or for as long as possible. So I know why I like swimming, because I think I feel very free and very calm when I'm in the water. And so I like swimming, and that's why I think that also motivates me to want to keep doing it.
So you're gradually developing a passion towards swimming.
Yeah, exactly. Throughout many years.
I believe that some of our audience here might be swimmers and might want to know how Siobhan swims so quickly in freestyle. Are there any secret techniques that you can share with us?
I wouldn't say there are secret techniques, but I do have like a few pointers that I can give. I think one of the important things is your head position. I think if a lot of people are afraid of water, they have the tendency of lifting their head up when they're swimming freestyle, but you actually want to keep your head and your neck and your back as a straight line. Sometimes people might put their head too down as well, and they look way too down at the bottom of the pool. But if you keep your neck, your head, and your back straight as a straight line, then you have a better body position, so then you'd have a tendency to float higher up, which is what you want in swimming. And another thing you can also work on is your breathing. The timing of your breathing is very important. So some people might breathe too late or too early. So one thing you can do is to practice and just try out different breathing techniques and breathing timing to see what works best for you.
So I saw from the media that you graduated with a degree in psychology and that your goal is to become a clinical child psychologist. So what are the reasons for picking this career?
Yeah, so when I went to university in the US, I always knew I wanted to study psychology because I was always fascinated with how the human mind worked. And at first I was going to do sports psychology, but unfortunately my university didn't offer that. So I was just taking a different intro to psych classes, and I realized that I'm very interested in child psychology and child development. And that's how I grew my interest in it. And eventually, when I'm done with swimming, I want to go back to school, get a master's degree in clinical psychology, and become a child psychologist. And the reason why I chose this path is because I think I grew up in a very fortunate family throughout my whole childhood and throughout my whole life. Actually, I never went through any traumatic experiences. I have a very happy childhood, and it's because I have very supportive parents, very loving friends, and everyone around me is very supportive and very loving. But I know that that's not the case for everyone in our society. And that's why I want to give back to our society and help the children who are in need, especially in this day and age. A lot of kids are very stressed with school, with their extracurricular activities, and with everything that's going on. I think it's important that I help these kids, because whatever they experience as children, it will definitely impact them as they grow up into adulthood. So I hope that I could do anything I can to make a positive impact into these kids' lives.
Thank you very much, Siobhan, for sharing with us a wonderful story. And today we have a special guest with us. Our chairman, Dennis, is here to say a few words.
Hey, thank you guys. What a wonderful interview. Some of you may not know, Siobhan is the daughter of one of our retired partners, Dara. As we are in 2021, let's all make an impact that matters. And to Siobhan, we all wish you making an impact at the upcoming Olympics in Tokyo. Another secret is Siobhan is fluent in Cantonese. Can you say a few words to our audience?
祝大家身體健康，新年進步。
我哋都祝大家萬事勝意，龍馬精神。